AT&T, Verizon, Apple iPhone 4s on both carriers. See, they can live in harmony. What's going on, guys? I'm Aaron from Phonedog.com, and today's D-Day in terms of the Verizon Apple iPhone 4 launch. It launches today. We're going to do a review of it. Got mine in today. Actually got it Monday, but because of the travel schedule, I'm doing the review today, my one-day home this week before we go off to Mobile World Congress. We'll see what's different between the Verizon version, the AT&T version, some of the design changes, some of the feature changes, and of course we'll do those speed tests to see, is the Verizon version the better one, or is the AT&T version the better one? Who knows? We'll find out in the review. First, special thanks to our friends at Best Buy Mobile. They hooked us up with 2 of the Verizon ones, and they hooked us up a while back with 2 of the AT&T ones for use in our One Paw Bandit giveaway game. When you go into Best Buy Mobile, you don't have to deal with rebates. So when you walk out with this device, or any other device, you don't have to deal with any of that rebate paperwork. No mess, no forms to fill out. Enough of that. Let's check it out. Verizon iPhone 4 review. Let's see what it can do. Here it is, the Apple iPhone 4 on Verizon. Who would have ever thought that you'd see that Verizon logo and Apple in harmony, particularly given those advertisements, a year or so ago where it was, I don't, Droid does. Things have certainly changed over the course of the year. But you can see the box isn't that different from the AT&T box. Same color, same kind of design on the surface. You'll think, hey, it's exactly the same. But the picture's been changed to reflect the Verizon iPhone, since some of the design, there's some minor design differences, like this is lowered a little bit, and then the antenna has been moved. So you have some different slits in the metal, if you will. And those are minor differences, but the picture makes the change evident. Let's take a look and see what the Verizon one looks like. Here's the device. You can see instead of having just metal up here, it has a little slit, so you can see the difference between the AT&T version and the Verizon version. And also you'll notice that the volume rocker has been moved down on the Verizon version, and the volume up, volume down are in the exact same place. The slits down here are the same. You just have the one up here, and then on this side you have the one up on the top on the Verizon version, whereas you don't have it on the AT&T version. SIM card slot, obviously, on the AT&T version. Now, another minor design difference on this one, you have the FCC labels and everything on the AT&T version. You don't have it on the Verizon version. You can see it just says iPhone, and then, see if I can get that to zoom in. iPhone, and that's it. So, no FCC labels. Not that, you may not notice that, but something I noticed out of the box, and it's one of those minor design differences that the Verizon one has. Bet you've never seen what comes in an iPhone box. Surprise! No, I'm just kidding. The same thing, earbuds, USB cable, and then your AC adapter module for plugging it in and charging it through the wall. Designed by Apple in California, the typical stuff comes in here. Fingertips, iPhone 4, product information guide, and of course some Apple stickers that you can put on the back of your car or your notebook or whatever for fun. So that's what comes in the box. I'm not going to bore you with that too much because that's what comes in every iPhone and has come in every iPhone for some time. So that's the box. But let's look at some of the feature differences here versus the AT&T version. Obviously, let's jump into settings, and you can see right out of the gate, network. Here's a big difference. This is the one everybody's talking about. It has personal hotspot capabilities. So when you pull it up like this, wait for it to load, and it may not load because I don't have the option installed on the iPhone 4 right now. But you have your personal hotspot. You can connect devices to this and utilize the 3G connection as a mobile hotspot of sorts. The AT&T model does not have that as of yet. Oh, there we go. Set up personal hotspot. Okay, I need to contact Verizon because I don't have that feature set up. So that's most likely why it's asking. But it does have that feature capability, whereas the AT&T one doesn't yet. Rumors are that that's going to come in a future, a future iOS 4.3 software update for the AT&T version. So we talked, about the hardware differences and the major software difference with the Verizon one in terms of it having the mobile hotspot capabilities. But there are a lot of other subtle, kind of network things that just go on behind the scenes that are worth repeating in the video. So let's talk a little bit about the pros and the cons of each of these devices and their respective networks. First of all, I mentioned that the Verizon version has the mobile hotspot capability. That's a benefit over the AT&T version. But also you have to keep in mind some things like the network technology. For example, this is utilizing 3G EVDO Revision A, the Verizon version. So, if you're talking on the phone, you can't browse the web at the same time unless you're on Wi-Fi. You have to physically hang up, browse the web, and call back. So it's a feature, if you don't use it, you don't use it. But for those people I use it on a regular basis. I'm on the phone with somebody, I need to look up something. I use it quite a bit. So it's a feature I would miss. Maybe it's not a feature you'd miss. Keep something to keep in mind, though. This is an HSPA Plus device, so you can talk and browse the web at the same time. Also, something to keep in mind with the Verizon version, you don't have international support for the most part. Any country, for example, any country in Europe that is a GSM, country that uses GSM, this device isn't going to work. It's CDMA only. It doesn't have a SIM card slot. It doesn't have Verizon's global roaming capabilities. So, basically, you take it anywhere out of the United States, and you're out of luck. So that's something to keep in mind as well. If you're a frequent traveler, you go overseas on a regular basis, this may not be the device for you. Not saying that Verizon's not the right carrier for you, but you may want to look into the Droid Pro or the Droid 2 Global. Now, those are the two things kind of against Verizon, or at least against the Verizon iPhone. Keep in mind, though, a lot of people think, or depending on where you're at in the United States, Verizon works better. Verizon perhaps works better in San Francisco or in New York City, and it's all dependent on where you are. I've been in places where AT&T works better, and I've been in places where Verizon works better. But something to keep in mind, that there is a reliability aspect that comes with Verizon. AT&T's been pretty kind of dinged up over the years with their with the reputation between the devices. So something to keep in mind there. Verizon may be more reliable for you, but that said, the data speeds are almost always slower on the Verizon version than on the AT&T version. So let's take a gander here. We'll open up speed test on both of these devices, and we'll get some network speed test samples just to see. Actually, I'm going to lay these down so there's no interference. Begin test, and we'll do a couple of these to show you. And while I'm talking about that, let's talk about data. The Verizon version, at least at launch, offers unlimited data. So even though they may throttle you after 5 gigabytes of data, you do get the unlimited. With the AT&T version, maximum you get 2 gigabytes. So keeping that in mind, it's $25 for 2 gigabytes, $30 for unlimited, but you do get unlimited versus the 2 gigabytes. So you can see, one thing I will give credit, the Verizon data speeds are very consistent, but they're consistently slow. 1.17 megabits per second. It usually hovers between 1 and 1.5. The AT&T one, it's all across the board, depending on traffic, depending on network traffic. I've seen it as high as 4 megabits per second in Charlotte, and as low as 0.5 megabits per second. So we can see here, we'll load another one just to get an idea of the differences. So you can see the Verizon one, again, very consistent, right there in that 1.2 to 1.3 range, whereas the AT&T one, we're going to go up to about 1.92, 2.2, 2.3. It's 2.35 megabits per second to 1.15. Then on the upload, looks like AT&T is going to do that as well. So, the perk is, it depends on how you use your iPhone. If it's a data machine, you may want to consider keeping it on AT&T unless you're in just a really high traffic area like New York or San Francisco. Otherwise, you want the call reliability, and you're in an area where Verizon works better. The Verizon iPhone is the way to go. So a lot of different factors to keep in mind, when you're thinking about which one to buy. Let's open up Safari really quickly here. Okay, so I cleared the cache and the history and everything on the AT&T one so we could load up Phonedog. So I'll do Phonedog.com there. I'll load up Phonedog.com. We'll hit enter at the same time. And just going to get an unofficial browser test of which one wins. Now, we'll be doing much more. I'll be doing additional videos of browser tests, of speed tests when it comes to the network, and of other, kind of one-on-one tests between the Verizon and the AT&T version. So stay tuned for those videos on the site, Phonedog.com. But let's load that up, and let's see. And we'll see which one loads faster. So, you look and you're like, wow, network speeds are faster. Looks like the Verizon one is loading Phonedog slightly faster. You saw there, just by a split second, the Verizon one popped up with Phonedog faster. So it looks like in terms, those numbers may be deceiving. While even though the AT&T one was a little bit higher, the Verizon one took the cake. Let's go to another page. Let's go to Motorola.com. Motorola.com. Yeah, I know, Apple, if you're watching this. Sending it to your competitor, Motorola.com. And so we'll see. Bam. Oops. Hang on. That doesn't count. Gonna have to change it up because I did .com right. Let's do, how about LG? LG.com. www.lg.com. Okay. Go. And we'll see which one loads up faster. So you can see, bam, that Verizon one just loading it up right away. So it's interesting. Like I said, those numbers, You know, the AT&T version was noticeably faster according to speed test numbers, but you saw that. And the Verizon one definitely took the cake in the browser department. So something to keep in mind. One quick thing I want to go over, because really there aren't a huge number of changes. The device is exactly the same in terms of design, with the exception of those minor slit differences at the top. Same front-facing camera, same rear camera, same processor, same everything else. But, you know, we'll have some more breakout videos, like I said, in the coming days. But let's take a look at the App Store real quick, because there are some Verizon-specific apps that launched along with the iPhone. So you go to search, you type in Verizon, and you can see VZ Contact Transfer, My Verizon Mobile, which I downloaded, a couple of Verizon things here, VZ Navigator, and then you get down into some third-party applications. But you have VZ Navigator out of the box. Like they said, they'd be available in the App Store, so you can snag those. VZ Navigator is $9.99, but you do get some options to manage your landline stuff and your internet, and then you have My Verizon Mobile on that one as well. So just like the AT&T version, you have some Verizon branded stuff that you can choose to download, but otherwise, no Verizon branding, no bloatware pre-installed on this device. It is very much an Apple device. So Verizon didn't customize it. You know, Apple kept it as is. So, you know, you do have that. Nice to have the choice on two different carriers. Much more coverage to come on the Verizon Apple iPhone 4 on Phonedog.com. Like I said, keep it locked on the site. We're going to do those breakout videos between network speed tests. I'll go to all kinds of places in Charlotte just to make sure that this one spot I'm sitting at in my office, you know, it isn't a fluke area. We'll do some testing there. We'll do some testing on call quality fronts and more. So keep it locked here for those videos after Mobile World Congress. Be sure to like us on Facebook as well, facebook.com/Phonedog. We're giving away stuff in the coming days, weeks, and months, so keep it locked on the page. And, you know, we have some exciting stuff that we're giving away. So like us, follow us, and be sure to interact with us, because we're on there all the time. Follow me on Twitter as well, Phonedog_Aaron. Questions, comments, thoughts you have on the Verizon iPhone 4, I'd love to hear them. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.